Hi, True Rest. This is Jim Kwik of Kwik Learning, and I help people to learn quickly. For the past 29 years, I've dedicated my life to build better, brighter brains. And we have one of the top educational training podcasts on iTunes in the world. Tens of millions of downloads. You might have seen one of our videos. We've had hundreds of millions of views the past few years, teaching people how to focus, how to improve their memory, how to read faster, how to change their limiting beliefs, and so much more. We also have an instant New York Times bestselling book called Limitless, which was also #1 on the Wall Street Journal and #2 on all books worldwide on Amazon. And so it's wonderful to connect with all of you. So my first float experience was in 2005. And I've been doing it ever since. It's when I float, it's kind of my mental sanctuary, not just for my mind, but for my body and my soul. There are a number of benefits that come in terms of altered states that help you to learn, be more creative, improve your memory, problem solving, and all these enhanced cognitive abilities. I think I still have a photograph of Nick and I in 2014 with the setting up a float tank in my home. So it's something part of my natural, part of my habits and part of my personal routines is something I recommend our high performance clients and students from around the world. And a number of reasons why, in no specific order: stress relief and relaxation. When you're in that fight or flight place, you're not in your best place to perform. You're not in your best place to study and learn. Chronic stress also has been shown to actually shrink the human brain, which could be a challenge for a lot of people. And so when your body is filled with cortisol and adrenaline, it's not the best place to be able to focus, to be able to learn a new subject, to be able to acquire a new skill. And so stress relief relaxation for me is very powerful. The sensory deprivation is powerful also as well. There are no external distractions, and so any audio or any kind of input that you're offering in that state, your brain is like thirsty. It's like it wants to quench that thirst. It's looking for that stimulus. So I find there's an incredible boost, enhanced learning. So whether you want to learn a new language, whether you want to be more creative, whether you want to overcome limiting beliefs that hold you back in terms of your own personal identity, whether you want to get rid of and reduce negative habits. We talk about becoming limitless, the limitations that we have on bad habits that we have, or bad habits of thought, or bad habits of emotions, these kind of things that we cycle through, the patterns. Also, when you're in that calm, receptive state, when you're listening to the audio, you're going to learn it so much better, because when you're in that relaxed state of theta and these alpha states, they've been shown to be able to learn something typical like language better, and something in terms of content for your job, or just performance tools. And because when you're in that calm, relaxed state, this alpha theta state, it's usually when you come up with your best ideas, are often in those kind of places when you're in and out of sleep, when you're first wake up in the morning, or when you're falling asleep at night. Those theta states, you come up with those great ideas, and floating puts you in those states naturally. Also, obviously, a lot of people know this, but floating also enhances sleep tremendously, and it's so important for the brain. We know when you don't get a good night's sleep, you're not making good decisions, you're not able to focus quite as well, your memory is shot the next day. But specifically, 3 areas. I saw this enhance not only length of sleep, but depth of sleep through going when I float. And some of the benefits, for brain benefits, are it's where you clean out plaque when you're sleeping that leads to brain aging challenges, that beta amyloid plaque. Also, it's where you consolidate short to long-term memory. So if anyone watching this knows somebody with long-term memory issues, check into your sleep, and floating has been shown to be able to really support that. And also, it's where you dream. We'll probably spend about 20 years of our life sleeping, about 3 to 5 total years dreaming. And many people don't know this, but your brain doesn't shut off at night. If anything, it's sometimes more active. And not only is it cleaning out plaque and consolidating short to long-term memory, but in those dream states, those 3 to 5 years of dreaming, Mary Shelley came up with Frankenstein in her dreams. Paul McCartney came up with the song Yesterday in his dream. A chemist came up with the framework of the periodic table in these dream states. Even sports performance. There was a Jack Nicklaus was in a slump shooting high 70s, and he couldn't get out of that slump, and he had a dream where he changed the grip, and the next day he shot mid 60s. And so your brain has this amazing capacity, creative capacity to solve problems in that kind of dreamlike state. So floating helps with those sleep, get you into those deeper sleeps, the quality sleep, but also it puts you into that theta state more naturally where you are creative and you can have those ideas. So my routine in terms of floating was, I found the best time for me to float was later in the evening. I would use it as, I'd meditate twice a day. When I would incorporate floating in the evening, I would meditate just once during the day, but floating was a wonderful way for me to get in that parasympathetic rest and digest place. Also, maybe all that Epsom salt that we put in, all that salts that we put into it, the magnesium helps me get a deeper sleep as well. But that was my part of my nighttime routine. Instead of how some people would maybe take a warm bath at night, I would float. I would float for approximately 60 minutes to 75 minutes. For me, that was an opportune amount of time, both in my schedule and also for me in terms of my personal benefit from it also as well. And then I rinse off, and then I go into my nighttime routine, where I stay off all my devices, and I have some just kind of this tea to kind of wind down. I do a little reading, a little gratitude, and off to bed. So in my book, Limitless, a third of the book was all based on mindset, a third on motivation, and a third on the methods for accelerated learning. And mindset is critical. And people just think about it. I could teach somebody a method on how to remember names and learn a language, read 3 times faster. But if their mindset is, I'm not smart enough, or I'm too old, or I have a horrible memory, then they're still going to be stuck in that box, if you will, and not be able to progress. And so it does wonders to your mindset. When I leave a float pod, it's interesting. Not only am I calm and rested in the parasympathetic state, but also the best of me comes out, right? I believe that all learning, like life, is state dependent. And, when people are in that place of anger, or they have anxiety, or they're feeling these lower vibe states, they're not able to learn or perform to the best ability. I also notice when I leave float pod, not only am I more creative and I'm writing, because I'm a writer, and I like to draw and take those ideas and put them onto paper. But I have such an appreciation for the things that I could see and hear. I don't know if this makes sense, but everything that I see has a vibrancy to it. When you leave the float tank, everything that I could hear, it sounds different. It sounds richer. Everything that I feel also as well. So it feels like my senses. It's like a reset on my nervous system. It's a reset to my spirit. I mentioned when we dream, like all the amazing arts and treasures that have come out of that. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and Paul McCartney's Yesterday, all these treasures. But the challenge is a lot of people forget what they dreamt when they wake up. Going through a floating experience, when you're in that theta state, that state of creativity, where you have all those ideas, I'm full of those ideas. And then the first thing I want to do when I emerge out of my float tank is to be able to capture those ideas and put them onto paper. So that's when I do the most of my journaling. And I try to write as fast as those ideas have come to me. But remember this, all learning, like life, is state dependent. And so putting yourself in that state, we don't have creativity, we don't have motivation, we don't have focus, we do those things. There's a process for it. When you take a noun and you turn it into a verb, then it's something you have agency over. It's not just waking up and saying, I hope I have creativity today to make videos and to blog and to make music. A float pod, right, going through a float experience is actually a process that can have you be more creative. So it's not even something that you're having, it's something you're doing, it's something that you're being. And it's an amazing tool. My approach for learning has always been about responsibility, that with great responsibility comes great power. And when we take control over our mindset, our motivation, the methods that we're using, including the resources and the tools, we could do things far beyond. Limitless is not about being perfect. It's about advancing and progressing beyond what you believe is currently possible. And what I'm constantly looking for are those force multipliers, right? Those focal points, those tools and technologies that could dramatically increase the return on your time and your attention on your dollar, the things that you put into it. And so I'm always looking for that high leverage, that proverbial first domino, if you will. And so I would say floating is amongst a handful of tools, hard tools, that's something that is very tangible, right? It's something you do this and you get this kind of result. I believe first you create your habits, then your habits create you. And as you're watching this and you're floating, or your clients are floating, they're coming in. I mean, these are things that you look forward to. How many people have jobs and careers where people actually, I don't look forward to, no offense, going to a dentist or going to see my attorney or going to do my taxes, right? But floating is a wonderful way to be able to reset. And more people spend more time upgrading their technology, their phones, their laptops, their apps, but they're not upgrading and taking care of the most important thing, which is your mind. And so floating is a wonderful way not only to recover and rejuvenate, but also to replenish those ideas, those resources, to be able to go through and not only catch up, but keep up and also get ahead with those amazing ideas that everybody has.